Yeah, still in a half guard, Jeff. Trying to work an arm. Kosaka's really trying to work the arm of Petey. He spins out of it nicely and gets back into the full guard.
It's called an entangled arm, what we call in wrestling key lock. But either way, it's a submission hold.
Both of these gentlemen have similar skills in submission techniques. So I don't think you would favor either as far as talking of their submission skills, both equally trained.
And Kosaka not really throwing any strikes here. This is almost looks like a jiu-jitsu battle, using just motion to try to improve position grappling. As yet, Kosaka has not thrown a strike here.
Petey Williams, 4-0 overall in mixed martial arts competition. 3 wins in rings in Hawaii, a couple against Joe Charles and John Renfro. And in the victory against Mark the Hammer Coleman.
Oh, another entangled arm. And again, Williams able to move out of it. You see Kosaka putting his chest up over the top of Williams' face. This immobilizes the head so he can isolate the arm. He's doing it again now. He's going to stretch the arm away from the body. And then as he pulls that arm away from the bodies, he will go ahead and try to entangle it, get the key lock. One thing to note here, Mike, in rings competition where Kosaka came from, you're not allowed to strike on the ground. So this is a new skill he's had to learn.
He's still trying to position that left arm. Boz, is it different for you to be able to see 2 fighters in person, 10 feet away from them, than it is to maybe study a future opponent on videotape?
No, I think this is the best way for me. You see, I already see the movements, what I'm going to expect from both fighters. A lot of groundwork there is, yeah, and no striking on the ground. So, Pete Williams, I have to watch out for the striking out, spanning out.
And a reversal by Williams. Kosaka went way over the top looking for a guillotine choke. Williams reversed it.
Pete Williams can stand up now if he wants, but not anymore.
This match, a time period of 12 minutes with a 3-minute overtime. All our fights tonight, other than the 2 title fights, the middleweight bout and the lightweight bout, 12 minutes with a 3-minute overtime. If we need to render a decision, our judges, Gene Fabricant, Jeff Mullen, and our Brazilian judge, Sayo Paheya, keeping tallies from their tables octagon side here this evening in Gineceo Portuguesa. Onto the feet they go. We're almost at the midway point of regulation time.
One correction, I said you can't strike on the ground. I meant you can't punch strike on the ground. You're allowed to knee and kick.
And that is a consistent rule here in the UFC.
6 minutes into the fight.
Petey again trying with the high kicks.
Very comfortable being on his feet.
A lot of the striking skills that have been developed in the past 12 to 18 months by Kosaka as he brings Petey down have come from his training with Maurice Smith.
That's the danger of kicking. Your foot can get caught, and when you try to retrieve it quickly, you're knocked off balance. Kosaka timed it nicely, maybe even baited him to throw that kick, and then was able to catch the leg when it came off him and knock Williams down. This is where Kosaka wants to be. He's been very active here. He's continued to go for submission locks, mainly this one, the entangled arm. Once again, he's going to try to stretch it away, isolate that arm, get it away from the body, and then attack the elbow. And look at that, it's hyperextended, but Williams in no problem whatsoever yet. Not tapping. Looks very comfortable, fighting off his back.
Well, it is often said that some of these fighters, most of these fighters from the Lions Den, will never endure more punishment in a bout right here than they have already in practice, be it Ken Shamrock in the past, Frank Shamrock, Guy Metzger, or whomever they train with. They train 150% of the time at 150% of efficiency and danger.
And again, Kosaka isolates the arm, but he can't get the right leverage to get Williams to submit. Kosaka definitely showing his skill here as a submission artist, but he has never had the likes of Pete Williams.
They're back up on their feet, and both seem to be with good wind, 7 minutes and 45 seconds in.
One thing everyone says about TK, that is Kosaka, his conditioning is unbelievable. So Williams now has to determine whether or not he is starting to get tired. Kosaka looks like he still wants to move forward.
The difference in this fight for Pete Williams against Kosaka is that Mark Coleman arguably is one-dimensional. No stand-up skills, really no submission, a ground and pound, a great former champion. But Kosaka has a wide array of skills, boss. We've seen them displayed in the first 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, they're starting to sweat now, you see, so no takedowns anymore. It's going to be more difficult. And as you also can see, they're not wearing shoes. That is because they're both submission artists and they know a lot of leg locks. And wearing no shoes is better, trust me.
And here in the country of Brazil, no kicks with shoes. So the fighters, some adjusted, some didn't, but we won't see many shoes tonight. If you're wearing shoes, you can't kick. Williams now in the full mount.
Full mount.
Trying to work the face of Tsuyoshi Kosaka. 3 minutes remains in regulation time.
Let's see if Pete Williams now can strike. And oh! Kosaka bringing his legs up, nearly reversed Pete Williams. You can see how articulate these athletes are at ground skill. You can see how much ground skill is needed when two people engage in a fight.
Pete can go for a knee bar right now, which he's not doing.
He did have that position there for a second. He could have reached down for that ankle.
And that's it. He would have finished him maybe.
These two guys know each other pretty well. The Alliance, the Lions Den, we talked about that, Jeff, but they have trained together in the past too. TK was training for a fight in Japan, and his training partner was Petey Williams. He reverses Petey there.
And boss, let me ask you, when you go ahead and attack someone's leg, you also almost expose your own legs in the process, and perhaps Pete felt that Kosaka was better at leg submissions than he is.
Yeah, that could have been a factor, of course, but I would have tried the chance, you know, make it more exciting and go for it. What I see, I'm going to grab. And then later on, I'm going to worry about my own defense.
Kosaka knew that Petey Williams has a very strong heart and good submission technique, so no surprise there. Mutual respect from these two fighters. Pete the better striker, and Kosaka the better of the two on the ground. The famous TK guard, as named by Maurice Smith. Maurice very quiet, unanimated in the corner.
Close guard by Williams. Again, Kosaka's not striking here, and I'm not sure if it's because he's afraid of missing the head and leaving his arm exposed.
10:45, a minute and 15 seconds remaining in regulation here in our first of two heavyweight fights. Our other heavyweight fight later on tonight, Tank Abbott and Pedro Rizzo.
People are booing, they want to see punches. This is Brazil. So that's the reason, because the game they're playing is unbelievable good.
They want to see punches, but yet in Brazil they're so used to jiu-jitsu. Why the need for them to see strikes, Boz?
I don't know. That's why I think these people who are sitting here, a lot of luta livre people, you know, with striking and vale tudo fans, and not so much jiu-jitsu.
Attempted armbar by Williams. Kosaka passes the guard now. Side mount.
More striking with the luta livre, as Boz and Jeff both know, and minus the gi there, so some of the tugging and Hoist Gracie motions taken out. But still the jiu-jitsu background, I think, exists in a lot of these fighters. They're back up on their feet with only 18 seconds left in the regulation time period. Pete Williams, Tsuyoshi Kosaka. We had a feeling it may go the distance, and it appears it is going to at least go into a 3-minute overtime period.
Well, a lot of this fight has been on the ground, Mike and Boss, and I would have to say that Kosaka has had a lot of good attempts at submission here.
Yeah, but they both moved. Once Pete was on top, the other time Kosaka was on top. I think it was a real good game. The ground game was excellent.
The striking, you might give a slight edge to Pete Williams. He's been able to land a couple punches, very active with his kicks.
And with his punches too. He did a good job. He will try to stay standing up now, I think. And it's going to be really difficult for Kosaka to take him down. As you see, you know, they're sweating. And it has to be a leg takedown. It cannot be a body takedown.
There you see Guy Mezger, the king of Pancrase.
That's a position you know, Boss. I talked with you and Guy a long time ago in Japan at about 2 a.m. in the morning in the foyer of the hotel we were staying at. And I believe at that time you were king of Pancrase.
Yes, I was.
Some action here. Williams on the bottom, able to come out, come up. Kusaka active on that ground game, looking for submissions, unable to get any, and we're in overtime.
Here we go, 3-minute overtime. The fighters show respect, and here they go. Kusaka tried to strike on the left knee.
I look for Petey to be punching here. I think Pete's going to try to take the striking game full blast here and go after Kusaka and not try to let it go to the ground.
Remember how Petey came out so aggressively in overtime against Mark Coleman and surprised and shocked the Ultimate Fighting world.
In the beginning of the fight, you saw him starting with kicking. I think he's setting him up right now with a lot of punching, and then works his way up.
Nice right hand.
There he goes.
Remember the 3 criteria for a judge's decision: aggressiveness, striking, and grappling. Big John McCarthy, our referee, his 21st Ultimate Fighting Championship. A constant since UFC 3 in Charlotte, North Carolina in September of 1994. 1/3 of the way into the overtime period.
Good punch from Kusaka there.
Uh-oh.
And a takedown.
Petey got the leg stuck again. TK's conditioning, impeccable as Frank Shamrock told us yesterday, and it is showing.
As is Kusaka, and we finally see Kusaka moving his hands, striking, but really rabbit punches, nothing really on them, hitting the ribs and the stomach of Pete Williams.
Halfway through the overtime, Petey is known as a patient, technical fighter. We have seen that displayed here tonight. Don't panic in the guard, and Petey does not do that.
And he's going for the same armbar again.
Does it pay, in your opinion, Boz, as TK tries to get some more of those rabbit punches in to try to work towards the same submission 4 or 5 times in the same fight?
Yeah, I think he really trained at this. You know what it is? He's got a lot of power, and he can force himself to it. So when he's trained for it a long time, like 1 month in advance, it's really difficult to stop it, even when you know what he's going to do.
Jeff, TK trying to be aggressive and gain judges' points here in overtime.
He is certainly going all out there with striking, something he doesn't do. And again, an entangled arm briefly, but unable to get it. Kusaka articulate with that move, and I'll tell you what, Pete Williams' arm was trapped 2 or 3 times, and his elbow definitely went 15 degrees beyond hyperextension, but Williams' joints bend that way. He appeared in no pain. He worked very well off the bottom, getting out of it.
Standing up again.
Standing up with just 10 seconds left in overtime. One last flurry. Petey tries to connect, and TK tries to answer. 5 seconds now.
Oh,
Petey went high with the kick. And they go the distance. 15 minutes in a heavyweight matchup between Pete Williams and Tsuyoshi Kusaka. The Alliance and the Lion's Den competing for the first time 6,000 miles away from the coast of Miami, Florida, here in Sao Paulo, Brazil, the 3rd largest city in the world. In the overtime period, TK had the top. During regulation, it was the TK guard. The half guard displayed here, and Petey tried to strike from a half-mounted position. It is going to be a tough judge's decision. Once again, our 3 judges, the veterans, Gene Fabricant, Jeff Mullen, and the Brazilian judge tonight, Sayo Paiheia. Petey Williams, the better striker, and TK with the heart of a lion, the submission fighter from Shiga, Japan. We are awaiting the official announcement for the winner of our heavyweight fight tonight. For the official announcement, here's Bruce Buffer.
It's a unanimous decision for the winner